The purpose of this presentation is to inform the public on a lesser-known traditional indigenous plant known as the wild lily of the valley. After introducing the plant, we will detail its cultural significance, how it was foraged, and its limitations and potential dangers. Preface. The wild lily of the valley is found in many provinces such as British Columbia, Labrador, and Newfoundland. It grows best in dense, humid woods where it will multiply to form large carpets along the forest floor and compete for space with other low-growing plants. The wild lily grows up to 30 centimeters tall when fully mature. Each plant will have 2 or 3 large heart-shaped leaves. Clusters of small white flowers will bloom from the top of the stem in late May or early June. In early August, small green pea-sized berries will begin to form in the place of flowers. These berries will turn soft and red when ripe in late August or early September. The berries were most often eaten fresh by hunters and children as a snack when foraging. Sometimes the berries would be scalded and mixed with sugars to make them sweeter and more palatable. The early leaves in spring would be foraged and boiled, then eaten as greens, among other vegetation. Both the berries and leaves would also be dried and steeped in teas for medicinal purposes. Cultural significance, health benefits. Many indigenous cultures located in Central and Eastern North America foraged the wild lily of the valley and used it as a medicinal herb. Nearly all parts of the plants provide benefits to human health when prepared correctly. Dried berries steeped into teas were used to relieve headaches and reduce nausea. Dried leaves steeped into teas were used to thin mucus and reduce congestion. The dried roots were used to make a decoction, which is similar to a tea, that promoted healthy kidneys. Along with many other medicinal herbs, the wild lily of the valley would be created into a paste called a poultice that would be applied to burns, cuts, boils, and bug bites to relieve pain and promote healing. Medicinal herbs were extremely important when modern medicine was not an option. Indigenous communities relied on these benefits as one of the only sources of physical and psychological pain relief. Cultural significance, spiritual connections. While many indigenous communities foraged the wild lily of the valley, they were used to the greatest extent by those in the Haida Nation. The Haida Nation traditionally located in Haida Gwaii, which is an island off of British Columbia's west coast. Haida culture practices strong ethics of reciprocity and giving back to the land that gives them what they need. In a myth from the Haida Nation, it is said that a feast made up of the berries from the wild lily of the valley, crab apples, high bush cranberries, salal berry cakes, lupine root cakes, and fish grease was prepared for supernatural beings to honor and give back what the land had given them. Foraging. The wild lily of the valley was mostly foraged in late August and early September when the berries are ripe and the leaves are fully grown. Since the plant forms localized patches, it's easy to harvest many of them in a short time. Only when necessary will the wild lily of the valley be pulled from the ground for its medicinal roots. Berries and leaves were most foraged by hand and stored in baskets woven from plant material or made from birch bark. Some indigenous cultures used comb tools made from bone to make berry picking easier by combing the berries off of the branches and directly into a basket beneath. Limitations. The berries produced by the wild lily of the valley are small and bitter. Not many berries grow on each plant, and they provide only small amounts of nutritional value. The plant also expands rapidly in an area and can choke out plants that produce more food with higher nutritional value. Additionally, the wild lily of the valley shares a similar name, physicality, and habitat to a much more deadly plant known as the lily of the valley. Both plants grow in dense, humid forests in Central and North America, produce 2 or 3 broad leaves, bloom white flowers, and produce red berries in late August and early September. The key difference is that the lily of the valley is extremely poisonous, and ingesting the leaves or berries can lead to nausea, heart problems, and even death. Sharing information about the differences between the two plants helps reduce the risk of ingestion. Both plants have similar descriptions, but it's easy to tell them apart if you know the difference. That concludes this presentation on the traditional indigenous plant, the wild lily of the valley. For further information, a written entry is posted on this website, www.firstnationsfoods.org.